everyone, Tom here, Battle Rap Resume, here with yet another episode with yet another guest. I could say yet another guest, but this guest is actually the guest with the longest Battle Rap Resume episode, one of my favourite episodes. The guy literally doesn't need an introduction, so I'll just say, Saurus, good to have you on the show, man.
I am glad to be back for the second time.
Yeah, but you've had like 4 Twitters in the last month or something.
I have. I'm like temporarily locked out of the one I have right now too, which is hilarious. But I just need to get this like verification code sorted so that it can be on. But yeah, Twitter has definitely had it out for me, and they basically determined that my original account, which was like my verified account, was the account I've had for 10 fucking years.
Right.
I called some old white guy a cunt, and they told me that I was promoting violence and hate speech against marginalized groups of people. So my account was being permanently banned.
Right.
And any account that I start in the future is going to be banned. So I'm pretty sure they like IP banned me. And I've basically had to like VPN Twitter, which is fucking hilarious. I just had like a homie start an account for me because I just got sick of them shutting everything down that I do. So now I just have to. I just like changed something on the profile, and then it temporarily locked me out. And I just need to like have him send me a code that they're gonna text to his phone number, and then it's fucking all good. But it's just such an annoying headache.
I mean, whatever you are, whatever guise you're under, I think everyone knows that you're sort of trash talk, just your general Twitter game, you know, when you just sort of put people down aggressively. Like, it's an art form into itself, I think.
Yeah, there's obviously no malintent to it either, you know what I'm saying? And if I'm ever calling someone a cunt or something along those lines, it's definitely not unprovoked, and I definitely have never been the one to initiate contact with these people who I end up saying these things to. And I definitely don't think that I should be, like, punished for responding to someone who's harassing me. You know what I'm saying? I think that's pretty absurd. So I've, like, filed multiple appeals with Twitter. I've told them, like, look, there was 200 people bombarding my account. And yeah, I replied to some of them with some choice words. But none of the words involved anybody's race, gender, religious belief, political affiliation, or anything like that. I mean, I just called people some idiots, some cunts. Might have told a couple people to like drink a bucket of paint thinner or something like that. But I mean, those are more suggestions than anything.
Sure.
I'm not demanding or promoting anything. I'm just suggesting that maybe they try something new.
And it comes with the territory, really, because you are, as we discussed before, as everyone knows, a living legend. You know, you have so much history, so you're going to attract this broad...
Not to mention I'm not the only one. Of the battle rappers, I mean, I feel like it's extremely common on battle rap Twitter where a lot of fans, and not even just on Twitter, even in like the Facebook groups and whatnot, fans are very comfortable talking to battlers the way that a lot of the battlers who've known each other for, 10 plus years talk to each other. And so there is sort of like an openly combative sort of dynamic that you have between a lot of battle rappers and a lot of their Twitter followers. And yeah, of course, it's not everybody. I have some amazing followers and some super like long-time good fans who I've never even had the slightest argument with or anything like that. But there is also a percentage of people who follow the scene and are fans of the scene, but also feel way too comfortable talking to battlers the way we talk to our peers and our people who we like. I wouldn't just interject into two people's conversations who I've never met and speak to them at a comfort level that their friends and family speak to them, which is essentially kind of what some fans do to battlers when they interject in conversation or conflicts or whatever it is that battlers are having it out publicly on Twitter, Going
forward then, because I mean, we have recapped a lot of the past beforehand, as I say. Battle Resume 82, which was July 2017 that we spoke, so, pretty much a year ago. Great episode, as I say.
I've had a good handful about it since then, for sure.
But it has been a crazy year, and I think I said this at the end of the last episode. The tear you seem to be on, the momentum, the matchups just seem to make sense, and you just seem to take them and do well.
Yeah, I mean, as long as I think I can have fun doing it, I'm gonna do it pretty much. But I've been a little more selective this year, and I've kind of like written down sort of like a set list of people that I actually want to battle, and I'm not really trying to stray away from that list unless something presents itself that I just can't say no to. But I mean, as long as I feel like I'm gonna have fun, usually if it's in like either a new area or in front of a new audience that I haven't battled before or something like that, that's gonna make it more enticing
Mm.
for me, of course. Because I mean, at this point now, I really just want to see new places, build new bridges, and still have fun.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely like even when I battled Geechi, that was my first time ever battling in San Diego.
Yeah, yeah. You've had your first battle in the air.
Yeah, exactly.
You
That
know,
was
which were,
absolutely insane for sure.
you know,
Yeah,
some crazy highs and lows. But you're returning basically to bots against Reverse Live.
Dog, if you don't want your head chopped off, reverse directions. When my high beams flash, it's not all an urban legend. Beyond all that, what I got off my first impression, the only bands he folds are in his Hot Topic shirt collection. No question, you dying in the first. Matter of fact, I could probably lose my license for this verse. Leave him lying on the curb, then I'ma hop into my ride and let it skirt, get 50 feet, then pull a Suge Knight driving in reverse and drive into reverse.
Which is the first battle I want to get into proper. Obviously, we covered the Topper battle before. I've said on record it's one of my favorite battles ever. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I genuinely think it's a modern classic from both you guys. And, you know, we've explored that before. You know, I was really excited to see you coming back versus Reverse Life here. This seemed like one of those matchups that could have went down years ago.
forever, definitely. It was one of those, why hasn't it happened yet? But at the same time, I think it was the perfect time and place for it to happen. Like the fact that it got to happen in basically a home setting for both of us. Because me and Cody grew up 45 minutes away from each other or 30 minutes away from each other or something like that. So I definitely feel like it would only make sense for he and I to battle within like the Bay Area vicinity. Otherwise, it's just there's no real point to it. And I thought that this was like by far the perfect setting and atmosphere for it. The energy was really good still at the end of the event. The battle itself is fucking awesome. It's super slept on. Really fucking good battle.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I love battling in Battle of the Zay. I feel like that's pretty much as close as it gets to me as far as like a hometown battle.
Sure.
For the most part. As far as, I mean, my actual hometown does have a league too, but they're just it's like Central Coast Battle League, and they're a smaller, or it's the Central Coast Chamber, and they're smaller. They're they don't like fill the type of venues that someone like a KOTD can as of yet. But yeah, I love Battle of the Zay. I was hoping that I'd be able to go to their event this coming July, but it's just conflicting too much with the World Series of Poker. So I can't.
And I mean, the vibe that comes across on camera is always excellent at these events. They're always just well lit, and people are happy, and you know, you always spot loads of battlers you know in the crowd behind.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
You know, it's a very sort of fan environment.
You see a lot of like old school Bay Area heads too that always come through. You see like XIs in the background, XI, FLO. A lot of like Bay Area OGs that you can count on being there, like dudes that you would have seen like in the first Grind Time West events and shit, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Caustic says it's on some Battle of the Bay 1 Grind Time shit, like. Lush says a reference I didn't get, Saurus. It says Jamie Kennedy set this battle up.
Oh, he was definitely sarcastically saying he was talking about Jamie Kennedy, Jamie DeWolf, who is the guy who created Tourette's Without Regrets.
Okay,
and,
I see.
And so it's just a throwback reference to basically saying that's where like we should have battled, basically, you know.
Right. King of the 40 ounce is Reverse. I mean, what can you say about Reverse Life? He's such an incredible force in the ring. You know, such a rapper, right?
Yeah, he really is. That's one thing that I think people always overlook when they battle him, because he doesn't, I guess, maybe look the part of what, unless you know him and are familiar with what he does, you wouldn't just like walk up to the guy and be like, oh, this dude can rap his ass off. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's sort of it's almost like an element of surprise for people who aren't as familiar with how good his actual rap ability is. And in places like San Jose, when he battles, he's so comfortable that that's what I like about. That's like I think mostly why I was excited about battling him up there, because more of his personality comes out, and it's not just rapid fire rappy shit when he's battling battling in Battle of the Zay, like he definitely like kind of flexes his funny side as well, because Cody's a hella funny dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, really fucking well-rounded. His energy is at such a high level. Fuck, I mean, as soon as Dan even suggested it, I think actually I might have suggested it to Dan just like when Dan announced like that he had set a date for the next BOTZ, however many months after I had battled Topper.
Right.
And I was just kind of like, well, you know who would be awesome is me and Cody, or something along those lines. And then he was like, yeah, actually, that is a really good idea. And then he hit me up, a month later and was like, so are we doing this?
Yeah. One of the things that I love, Saurus, is your tease, against Fresco, rocking the Back to the Future shit. Here rocking the sort of cosmic Bob Ross.
Yeah, bro, I found this Fire Bob Ross shirt.
Yeah.
I was shopping with my lady. My lady was staying with me out in Vegas for a couple of weeks, and we were just doing some shopping, and I stumbled across the Bob Ross shirt, and I was like, yeah, I think I pretty much have to floss this for the battle. There's just no other choice. It's too fire to not do it. Like,
And reverse.
I'm not like a fashion dude or anything along those lines. I just fucking if I see something and I like it, I'm fucking with it. I don't really care. Comfort is everything. I don't really care.
I love it, and obviously you flip it as well at the top of your first, which is great. The whole brush with death, green giant sort of thing.
I was trying to think. As soon as I saw him at the event, I was like, well, I have to reference both of our shirts now.
And his first is crazy, right? The sort of waxed heat, Daedalus kid, Kit come with some wings, Pegasus shit.
Yo, he's so good, man, and it's tough. You can never tell. Like Cody punches in different places than other writers do, which is super fire, and it also makes it it's like impossible to sort of predict where the punch portion of his line's going to come from, and that makes him I don't know. I think even more effective because it's not the standard 1-2-1-2. There's some stuff that's more drawn out. There's some stuff that he does that is more 1-2-1-2, and he always punches in a different place. Like he's not always punching on the fourth line. There's not always a 3-bar build punch on the fourth or a 1-bar build to the punch on the second,
Yeah, he has a crazy flow, so engrossing. Metal running on your team when they're kicking it, like foosball tables. He goes in on your music, which a lot of people seem to do.
That's hella funny because I haven't put out an album since 2012.
Wasn't there a parody? Wasn't there a parody track of you the other day?
And I guarantee it did better than any music that Cody and his band sold.
If you never wore shit as a wordsmith, just take a rhyme scheme, stretch it like reverse did. It works if you're really that trash. It works if you're really that trash.
Yo, that parody track, that shit's actually super fire, though. I mean, the funny thing is about that track is that it's from a line from that battle, actually. And it was just making... that's more making fun of the Missy Elliott song. It's making a remix of the Missy Elliott song with my line about if you never wore shit as a wordsmith. It's so great. I fucking love that video. Shout out to whoever made that. That guy is an absolute legend.
On tonight's episode of Peter Morris Needs a Chorus, which is, greatly extended from him. And yeah, we do the flip from you in the first as well. And I really liked your reference, Bitch Behind the Lens when Cody meets the real Diablo.
Yo, I think that got maybe a little...
That's an obscure reference.
I will 1,000,000% confirm or guarantee that Lush got it.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not worried about people in building catching the references and shit like that. I actually kind of prefer if people want to know what it is because it's going to make them re-listen and re-watch and sort of find out the information on their own. But yeah, that line definitely got slept on. Shout out to Diablo Cody.
Yeah, director, we should say, Juno's probably her most famous
She's a
work.
movie director. She directed Juno, is what she's most famous for directing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's done a few. She's done quite a few things as well. She did this thing with Meryl Streep, where she was a rock star that was kind of okay. But yeah, she's most famous for Juno and Young Adult and stuff like that. Crazy bar. Pull a Suge Knight and put Drive into Reverse and Drive into Reverse.
Yo,
Crazy.
Let's go. That shit was...
Oh my god, man. Yeah, seamless shit. Dirtbag Dan co-host on the reverse side, always putting you under dirt.
Yo, that got a little slept on too, definitely.
Yeah. But I mean, again, the rehearsal process, just to refresh our memories, for you, the writing, I mean, you do it so much now. Is it automatic almost? Are you just disciplined to create these bars?
Yeah, I mean, I usually... I give any given battle, I pretty much put in about I would say 2 weeks of like actual work. The first week I'm just sort of idea gathering and stockpiling lines and mostly ideas more than anything. Not even really lines. I'm just sort of writing down ideas, concepts, lines here and there, or like just little bits and phrases that rhyme that I might want to use and shit. And then I really start formulating the rounds like the week of the event. And for this one, my girl and I actually drove up from Vegas, like to the Bay. So we pretty much were just like coasting up there while like listening to Spotify, and I was just sort of like audibly piecing my third round together while driving,
right.
And then just having her like hold my phone and press the like voice record thing or text record. And yeah, that was basically like how my third got put together. I had my first 2 rounds done like while we were on our way up, but yeah, I didn't get the third done until basically we like got to San Jose, checked into the hotel, and we're getting ready for bed that night.
And, you know, your second features the whole, you know, stretch it like Reverse did, which obviously got parodied. Yeah, exactly. And, like, that was a sort of different type of attack. Have you done that much in battling before, that sort of rhythmic, obviously musical attack?
I hadn't done it in a minute. I just thought, I mean, I don't know, I just thought the line was hilarious as soon as I thought of it, of course. And it was another thing where I definitely was expecting and received a top-tier Lush 1 reaction. I knew that was definitely going to get Lush to go nuts, which is always like a good thing, I think, for the entertainment purposes of the footage, just seeing him spaz out on cam. So, but yeah, that was something that it's mostly I mostly like committed to using it simply because Missy says the word reverse in the line,
right?
So then it's just a matter of thinking a way to make it apply to him, and the fact that it was like so easy for me to like when I told my girl the line, she fucking loved it, and I was like, okay, well, if you get it, then anyone's going to, like, obviously. I mean, the song is undeniably like well known and classic enough to where people are going to get the reference. Yeah, I don't know. I also just it's more fun to create lines like that sometimes as opposed to like hard hitting, I'll knock your head off type of shit, you know.
I like the end of your second as well. Kill in reverse, and it's not Memento.
Yeah, for sure.
Fire.
Actually, I realized Madflex had a ridiculous line about Kill in Reverse, something about Memento and Kill in Reverse in their battle, which happened a couple of years ago. But they weren't like the same line. I wish I could remember what Madflex's was, because it's absolutely crazy. I'm trying to think of what he rhymed. I think he rhymed Washington Generals with watching Memento or something like that. It's crazy. Shout out to Madflex.
And you recall the day that he almost beat Disaster, which is obviously invoking a lot of your history here. I mean, he battled Disaster.
I remember that day.
February 2009.
I actually judged that battle too,
Crazy.
Which made it. I could sort of like more, I guess, like poignantly reference it. You know what I'm saying? Since I was also a judge for it. But yeah, I remember that. I still remember that day, and that battle is still one of the craziest, like, high energy battles I ever remember being for. Because that was back when Cody was like, it was 100% attack mode. There wasn't really. He was like more full blown rapper mode than trying to like flex any humor or anything like that. I mean, he had occasional like jokey lines, but it was definitely more rapid fire rap shit. And of course, there was like Disaster's third or fourth written battle too, and fucking obviously he was like a complete lunatic when he fucking first got introduced to our scene. Their battle. Fuck, I haven't watched that in so long. But
no, you guys need to watch that on Watch maybe.
Oh, word.
If it hasn't already, I mean, maybe it has.
Call.
Yeah.
That's actually a good call. I would be hella down to watch that. I'm always down to watch Grand 10 battles on Watch.
Oh, man. Let's talk about Watch for a while, because obviously it's been about a year or so, and it's just grown and grown as a thing. What an awesome fucking platform.
Bro, what Kyle's doing is fucking incredible, and the fan base for like the Ruin Your Day fan base is so supportive and positive and amazing, which is very fucking refreshing. You're really, I mean, all battle fans, core battle fans are definitely supportive and positive for the most part. But I mean, there obviously is like the negative handful. I would say that in like the Ruin Your Day group and fan base, there doesn't seem to be any of that negative nonsense really, and it's fucking awesome. It's like you're not seeing people complaining about nonsense that they not only have no control or say over, but things that don't that are so like minuscule and trivial and petty to be mad about in the first place. I'm just glad that we're not getting a lot of like the negativity, the negative transfer fans. You know what I'm saying? It seems like it's all positivity. People enjoy watching the battlers watch battles. They enjoy all the different guests for like a myriad of reasons, which is awesome, and it always keeps things fresh because you're always having like new perspectives on old shit, which is fucking dope. Yeah, man, I love what Kyle's doing. I hope that there reaches a point where maybe someone wants to help sponsor or back them a little bit into maybe helping them like do something bigger in the West, because I feel like Cali really needs a big event this year, like sooner than later. It's getting the state of things in Cali is getting a little bit weird. But I also don't expect Davo to be able to just like fund something like that out of pocket. So I don't know. Hopefully something can be done like moving forward to where a sponsor or some sort of support can be put in place to where he can fucking like throw his own events that he has all the control of, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the dream would be, say, I don't know, a poker player winning the jackpot and being a huge battle fan.
Yeah,
and just put, you know what I mean? Like, I've often had this dream. I'm sure everyone else has.
Same.
Infinite funds, put on the ultimate event.
I've talked about it a bunch of times. If I won like the World Series of Poker main event or something like that, I would definitely invest into Ruin Your Day.
Yeah.
And, you know, try to help it grow and blossom. And that might not even necessarily be by throwing battle events, though. It's
sure.
I would want to like sit down, talk to Kyle and the team that he works with about like any ideas that they have. I would definitely want to do something that's unique to any other league, and that no other battle platform would really be doing. I think that's already kind of what sets him apart. So yeah, I'm hoping that I can make something happen and contribute to it, because I support it. I support Ruin Your Day and the channel 1,000,000,000%.
Oh my God.
I love concept. I love the private battles that he throws. I think are fucking awesome, and shit, I'm all for helping.
Yeah. Obviously, we love Ruin Your Day here as well. They just hosted my top 10 most disliked grind time battles. So definitely check out that video.
Sick. That's so
you haven't checked that out,
that's so tight.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll send it you after. You definitely need to check it out. Getting back into reverse, he has a crazy line towards the end of his third. The whole got a double barrel for Mr. 2 times everything.
Yeah, that was dope as fuck. That might be the best like 2-time everything bar.
Yeah. And we sort of go forward in time, I suppose, to a certain extent, because he references you choking on clips. But this battle came out quite soon compared to, but we'll get to it. It's sort of in the battle time zone sort of thing.
Yeah, no.
And, again, the third from you is electric. The whole ordered the code red. You can't handle the truth. Random question. Favorite Jack Nicholson performance, just out of interest?
It's tough to go against The Shining.
Yeah.
Departed,
maybe? Or
Departed, I was going to say, but honestly, I'm not really sure. Departed, to me, that's like one of his, I guess it's kind of one of his more recent performances.
Yeah.
It was a little bit like it.
Cuckoo's Nest, then, I think, is maybe a bit better.
Yeah, it would probably be
Cuckoo's
Nest with The Shining. Have to be.
Yeah.
To me, Departed, it was like the character he was playing Jack Nicholson as a mob boss. If that makes sense.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? It was it wasn't very rangy as far as character goes.
But you close out the third really strongly. Bare arms with Kodiak. which is quite nice. Grizzly,
yeah.
and feeding off the energy there. It's maybe not quite to the heights of Topper, although, as I said before, one of the greatest battles of all time. But I think both of you deliver some outstanding rounds with some killer moments.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I think that it's up there. It's probably cleaner than the Topper battle, like overall, as far as just like as far as how polished all three of Cody and my rounds were. But the battle itself, I think that there was something just like a little bit different and more unique about the Topper battle. I still think that like the reverse battle, like that and the Topper battle might have been like my two best performances of the year. I felt better about my reverse performance than I did about my Topper performance. And that's probably just because I knew I had like one hiccup in the third against Topper, whereas I got out all three rounds clean against Cody. And I don't know, I'm like so nitpicky.
The next battle then was on Ruin Your Day that we mentioned prior, versus Laugh-N-Stalk in the balloon.
It was almost too ridiculous to say yes when this battle was offered. But I'd hate to burst your bubble now, because that would be awkward. But to me, you've always been a suspect rapper. And by that, I mean an actual rape case suspect captured. I'll make this young Ned Flanders take one step backwards, and the next scene will be edited due to subject matter.
And it's kind of one of these battles that doesn't really make sense on the ground, on terra firma. But in this little canopy, it's perfect sense. How did this come together, this crazy battle?
Honestly, it's Kyle and Brett came up with the idea. Well, they were just talking about it. Like, how dope would it be if we could actually make the hot air balloon happen? And it was more for the sake of trolling Matt Ills, obviously.
Right.
Because he had the idea long ago and was so, like, openly mocked for it. And, I mean, like, I was definitely one of the people who was mocking him for the idea because it was so absurd at the fucking time.
Right.
And it didn't seem like something that could realistically happen. But then Kyle hit me up about it, and him and Brett were just like, yo, would you actually be down to make this happen? I guess I was like the name that they thought of. And so they hit me up, and I was just like, yeah, I would do that. Like, not only do I think the idea is hilarious, the opponent is fucking amazing, and I'm always down to give someone like Laugh-N-Stalk, like shed some light on someone like him who not as many people are familiar with, but who I think is like genius.
Oh my god.
He's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And there's so many layers to the lines.
Weekly Battlefeed as well is amazing.
Oh, I loved Weekly Battlefeed. I was so sad when he stopped.
Yeah, the quality was out of this world. Yeah.
And I mean, no, like, if Kyle hits me up asking me to do something, like, and it's for him and his channel, I'm gonna pretty much be behind it regardless, because I know that he like it's something he wants to do, and if it's something he's interested in, then how could I be disinterested in it? You know, the guy fucking puts his heart and soul into the scene to begin with, and I don't know. I thought the idea was amazing. I love the concept of trolling Matt Ills, of course, and when we figured out how easy it was to actually make it happen, I mean, why not do it for the sake of being able to do it? It was literally the most fucking terrifying thing that I've done as far as rap goes. It was nuts. Like, the basket, first of all, the basket was lower than my waist level, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
So you can at any moment feel like you're just going to like topple over and out of the basket. There's nothing harnessing you or buckling you into it. So you're just standing there freely. Kyle was like basically saying like, fuck, I could have a panic attack right now. Like, this is not cool. And fucking, so we were just trying to tell him, like, just look through the camera lens, look at me and look at LNS. Don't pay attention to the backdrop. Don't pay attention to anything else. And I pretty much did the same thing. I felt like inside of the basket, there was like a tiny little canvas strap just like hanging from like the inside of the basket rim. So I grabbed that with my left hand, basically as soon as we got in, and then did not let go until we landed. I gripped that thing tighter than I have ever gripped anything in my entire life and held on just for the entire ride. It was terrifying. We were like, I think at the peak we reached like 1,500 feet.
Like, for someone who hasn't seen this, it makes my palms sweat when I watch it, to be honest with you. You guys are high up.
It was so nerve-wracking. The crazy part is, okay, so when it's filling with hot air, obviously, like, you know, in the beginning of the video where you see like the fire shooting up into the balloon.
Yeah.
It makes that noise though, that like type of noise. So we obviously can't rap while that noise is taking place. So he had the conductor or the balloonist. he had to basically get us high enough in the air to where he could then turn off the hot air for 90 seconds so that we could get our rounds off. And we would basically we were in a free fall while we were spinning our rounds. So without realizing it, he told us we were dropping 600 feet per minute. So we were dropping 900 feet at a time each round we were spinning, which was fucking insane. And like, you don't really realize it at the time. You realize that something feels different while I'm rapping, but I don't exactly know what it was. And then he tells us, like, I asked him, I was like, how much height did we lose, like, round to round right there? And he's like, oh, you guys are dropping at 600 feet per minute. It's so fucked. So we were up to like 1,500, 2,000 feet or something like that. And then, we would come down. And then as soon as the round would end, he'd be like, we're good. All right, back up. And he even told us, he's like, it's the first ride he was the first like tour he'd ever given. And he's given tens of thousands of these things. It was the first time he'd ever given a ride like this, though, to where it was sort of like an oscillating ride, to where it's just up and down as opposed to just a steady incline, and then you're just sort of coasting at one height for 30 minutes or so, and then a steady decline. This was just on some like sloping up and down. He's like, I'm really curious like how it looked to my ground team just seeing like the fluctuation of the heights, because it's basically 3 rounds, so 6 different times that it's just basically going up and down and up and down, a matter of like 1,000 feet each time. It was so fucking crazy. Definitely the most like unique battle experience I have ever had.
Oh my god, yeah, unbelievable. And the fact that you kind of guys write around the situation is really nice as well. You both have constant references, and he sounds like he sounds down on the ground. You sound a bit more light voiced. Like, you seem a little more affected by it.
I was way more. Yeah. He was infinitely more comfortable than I was. He was making me and Kyle uncomfortable because he would like look over the edge during there's a part during one of his rounds. Yeah. He looks over the edge of the basket casually. And like Kyle and I even told him after we were done filming, we're like, yo, that made me so uncomfortable when you did that. It was to me, the most impressive part actually was that both of us got through all 3 of our rounds on one take.
Yeah.
Because I expected that to not be the case. I thought there was going to be a reasonable chance we would have to do multiple takes, because it's so different from anything we've ever done. It's like both in like as far as a stage, like our stage is a 4x4 basket to begin with. Like having to be stationary for an entire battle is something completely new for me. And then Avo, like finding the right filming angles given the tiny space we were actually working with. It's actually amazing to me that we got it done on just one take. And the dude was super impressed, like the conductor. It was fucking tight. He was hella impressed by it. He's like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. And he's like loaned his balloons out for movies, for TV shows, commercials, all kinds of shit. He's like he's the number 1 hot air balloon guy in California. It was dope though. And then one of the crew people who was who helped, like when the balloon came back down, he was like one of the people to help basically harness it, bring it down, and then decompress the balloon. He was like a longtime battle fan from like the grind time era. Right. So he told us as soon as we like got down from the trip, he was just like, yeah, man, when they said that like some dudes were coming like to film a rap battle, like I knew I had to be a part of it, because he's like, I heard the name Avocado and I knew what was good. Right. So tight. How fucking amazing is that, though?
I mean, one of the most crazy things is in the second round, the sun's rising behind your head as you perform.
Yeah, oh yeah, because when we got to the place, the sun hadn't even come out yet. Like when we had gone and actually checked into it, I think it was about 5:30 a.m. when Kyle picked me up or something like that. And then we went to the place, still completely dark out. We had to like do our weigh in and everything like that. And then basically they took us to like the actual launch site, and then we watched the balloons all be filmed because there was like 20 or 30 people there for the day. So there was 5 or 6 balloons all being set up, and then we had our own, like the small one, the little 4-person one, because if we would have gotten a bigger one, we would have just had like random hot air balloon goers, I guess, as an audience. But I don't know if we would have been like kind of maybe ruining their experience. Yeah. I don't know. Like,
ruining their day.
Sure. Exactly, just ruining someone's day while filming for Ruin Your Day. It was basically sunrise by the time we got on, and then the sun was pretty much fully, at least, like there was full sunlight out by the time we took off, and yeah, the sun is rising in the background while the battle is progressing. It was fucking amazing.
And there's like mountains and mesas, and the landscape that unfolds beneath you is quite breathtaking, really. It
really is. Yeah. It's crazy, man. Yeah. It's fucking like we were definitely soaking it in as we were like inclining and getting to the point of a safe height to where we could even start filming, and we were just like looking at it while we were going up, just like, holy fuck, this is incredible. Like, I mean, Kyle now with this and with the Bender battle, those are like two of the most like beautifully landscaped battles ever. And I got to be a part of both of them, which is awesome. And I guess the third one is probably the one that he did with Pigsty and Random in those fucking like
the dunes.
Desert dunes in like Mexico. That shit's incredible. And he wants to do more things like that in the future, which is something like that I guess would maybe be an idea of something I would be down to like help fund, is doing these crazy like on location battles, you know, and then coming up with a name for it, something fitting, something simple and fitting, something like On Site or something like that, you know.
Right.
I actually think that's a great name for rap battles that are taking place on like in like a unique I guess landscape or atmosphere, because on site also means like when I see you, it's on site.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And then we're also on site, like on location. So I think that's
it's fun. Yeah, that's
it would be a dope idea. And Kyle wants to like fucking film something on like a volcano in Iceland. He wants to do all kinds of crazy shit. I've told him, I'm like, bro, I'm fucking down.
Yeah.
You just let me know if you ever want to go to Iceland and film a battle, because I'll do it. Like,
you mentioned Boiler Room as well. Cashing in while stocks plummeting.
Oh, let's go.
Who knows about Boiler Room these days? I love that pick. Like,
bro, that's one of my favorite movies ever.
Oh right, yeah, it's a good movie. Yeah,
I fucking love Boiler Room. Shout out to Giovanni Ribisi.
That used to be.
Yeah, he. I mean,
Scientologist now, isn't he?
I was just about to say, was a legend. Then I found out he was a Scientologist, and it just hurt my heart.
Yeah, he's in Friends as well. Movies, bro. You know, he's had some crazy roles.
60 Seconds.
Yeah. He's but all in all, you know, the battle, if it was just the same material, like, you know, in a normal location, the crowd would go crazy. Like, the quality of it is insane.
Yeah, the material was still fucking dope. Yo, Stock's material is fucking amazing. Put the can to your mouth. I'm just feeding the goat.
Yeah. Dropping bombs on Peter from above, like the Hobgoblin.
Yo, he had so many good lines. And that, to me, was like the best part of the battle, was the fact that newer people, like people who are only familiar with me, because I definitely have a lot of fans and even friends who are just, they're not even like battle fans per se. But if I drop something new, they're going to check it out. So to get like a newer audience to check out what Stock is capable of, because I feel like that was like peak writing for him. And so many people, all of my friends and even my family hit me up just like, yo, that guy that you battled is fucking amazing. Like, my mom and stepdad were like, he might be the most hilarious person you ever battled. And to me, like, that is so fucking dope for like people who aren't even necessarily core battle fans to be able to see, like, recognize and appreciate what he's doing also. I fuck with that.
Yeah, definitely. Money get dropped for inflation, changing dollars for pounds.
Yo,
Just like incredible shit. Absolutely incredible. Obviously, huge fucking Laugh-N-Stalk fan, and crazy battle. I think he's battling Red Flag. I don't know if you saw that announcement.
He is. That's gonna be so good. Red Flag is fire.
Red Flag is like, crazy.
I was saying, it's like it feels to me that's kind of like a modern day Dan versus Solcon type of thing, because I feel Red Flag has there's definitely, and I mean this in a good way, for sure. Not that I don't even know how I could mean it in a bad way, but people find it to hate on Solcon. But there is a Solcon quality in, I don't know if it's in Red Flag's voice or his like vocal inflections or certain lines that he delivers, but there is a Solcon quality there. But I mean it definitely in a complimentary way. I don't mean it in a way like he's trying to sound like Solcon or something like that. There's just a quality there that reminds me of Khan, but it's definitely in a good way. And I mean, Stalk is fucking absolutely hilarious. It's that's a tough matchup for Red Flag.
Yeah,
because I don't think he's ever battled someone with the personality of Stalk.
That's true. That's true. And talking to personality clashes, we have you versus Clips.
Boy, we both come from that old school breed, but the bark is different. I adapted every time the bar had risen. Charlie did it. So what's it called when times are changing and you aren't evolving with them? Motherfucker, you should know I'm teaching Charles Darwinism.
It's like the battle that I was most excited for on this card. And I'm not trying to be rude, but it was a bit of a disappointment. Is that fair?
Yeah. Oh, it definitely was a disappointment. That's very fair to say.
What happened?
I mean, I was definitely not 100% locked in and focused on battling at the time. I had just finished 2 months of grinding World Series of Poker tournaments pretty much every day. So I slacked super hard on writing. Clips, it's an interesting, or like, I guess kind of a weird dynamic with Clips. Like, yeah, I have tons of respect for Clips and what he's done as a battle rapper. As far as finding motivation to like write to destroy Charlie Clips, like, in the idea of that sounded a lot easier when I took the battle than it did when I started watching his battles and trying to prepare, because a lot of the stuff that I was watching was a lot of his own laziness and whatnot, and it's kind of hard to self-motivate while I'm already focused elsewhere on like the World Series of Poker and legitimately trying to like make enough money to buy myself a house out here. Like my focus was elsewhere, and I guess maybe his own like open laziness made me probably more lazy, which I know isn't a good excuse or anything. I'm just being honest about it. It was just something to where it was hard to find the motivation, even like the closer that we got to the battle. It was kind of just like, like I feel like I can outright him on any 365 days out of any given year. Like, there's no question about that. It's just a matter of I don't know, the pandery, whether the pandery things that he does are going to go over well, because if they are, then it's probably not the best audience for me to present things to. His pandery things definitely did go over well.
Right.
But I don't know. It was kind of hard for me to find actual motivation for it, to be honest.
There was a massive crowd there, which was great to see.
Yeah, there was. I tried to be more motivated when I got there, and I don't know. Even when I got in the ring, like, first of all, I had to battle about roughly an hour earlier than I was supposed to.
Okay. Because
it was supposed to be Jim's battle before mine, but then it was supposed to be Jim's DNA and then me and Clips. So I was like in the green room running over my shit, thinking I have an hour to prepare. And I don't know, I was obviously still tired. I had a long ass fucking flight to get there, and then like an hour Uber ride. I didn't get into Boston until midnight the night before. Didn't get to the hotel until almost 3 in the morning. And then me and my girl just like got to the hotel and slept. And then they were like, yo, we need you at the event. We need you at the venue at like 1 or noon or whatever the case may be, which is also 3 hours earlier for me because I'm on West Coast time. So I wasn't even really fully awake yet. There wasn't too many variables working in my favor, I guess, to go on top of the fact that I was also like pretty unmotivated and pretty meh about the battle in the first place. I mean, if I'm being honest, I should have either tried to push harder for a different opponent or just said no to the battle in the first place. But I wanted to be on the card, and I know that they were like sort of like scrambling to find me about, because I was supposed to be on Massacre 1. Math no-showed, and then I was basically like told that I would be on Massacre 2 and it would be made up to me, which it then, like, all of the announcements had essentially been made for Massacre, and there was a month until the event, and I was hitting them like, yo, what the fuck? I thought I was going to be on this card. So, you know, then Bishop was like, all right, well, what about you and Clips? And I said okay. I said okay because I wanted to be on the card, but I probably should have taken more time to think about it. As soon as he just like offered me Clipstone, I was like, yeah, I'll kill Clips. Let's go. I was in Montreal when I accepted it. Then I got back to Vegas and was playing tournaments every single day for the entire summer, just working my ass off, trying to make it so I didn't have to work for the rest of the year. And by the time the deadline for the battle came around, I hadn't even fucking started yet. Like, by the time the main event of the World Series of Poker had finished, it was, I don't know, a week or so away from the event itself, from Massacre. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll start writing now, and just could not find the motivation to like write for more than a couple hours a night watching Clips battles, which was frustrating as fuck. So I'd watch other people's battles. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's definitely a performance that I'm probably the most disappointed in like any performance I've had over the last couple of years. Probably since like the Philly Swain battle, but even the Philly Swain battle I had on 1 day's notice, so there's more of a reason why I wasn't the level I was. The thing that bothers me, or that I actually like feel bad about, is on top of being like paid to show up and perform and execute the way I'm expected to. People know that I fuck with the city of Boston super heavy, and I'm obviously like a diehard Boston sports fan and whatnot. So getting to perform for a Massachusetts crowd was something I was definitely looking forward to, and I know I met enough people that were there at the venue who were looking forward to the same out of me. So what I feel bad about is not providing those people with the level that I hold myself to and that they expect out of me as a battler. So fortunately, I get the opportunity to make that up to all of them this year, and I'm absolutely going to do so. There's nothing that's like distracting me or sidetracking me or anything along those lines. That was definitely the thing that bugged me, is having that should never be a first impression performance live that I'm giving to any fan, because I'm definitely like, not only am I capable of more than that, like I hold myself to such a higher standard than what I performed to that day. Yeah, it was frustrating.
Yeah, Clips, it kicks us off, and it's kind of, he's very Clipsy in this, you know, Ritz.
Very, and
cracker
that
salty.
made it, that was even more annoying to me. Like, think of how easily beatable his rounds are I just half-assed gave it some effort. That's the most frustrating part.
Yeah. I mean, him being the nerd grind time rapper, it's like, come on.
Yeah, totally.
You know
the
what
glasses,
I mean?
that shit. That shit was so corny. The fucking he had like a defeat toe apart line.
Yeah.
Like, bruh, there was so many things about it that just made it even more frustrating for me. Basically, I was just like, why? Like, why didn't I come at 100%? And because I would have obviously embarrassingly 3-0'd him if I performed at 100%. And he performed at that.
Yeah, that's true. But you kick off by talking about fucking his grandma?
Oh yeah, I definitely did. That's because he always shouts out his grandma.
Right, okay.
I definitely did that. Yeah, it's because he always shouts out his grandma, so I just said, fuck your grandma.
I mean, it's still some great stuff in the battle.
Good lines. I'm really frustrated that I forgot like the last half of the third that I forgot, and I spit it on camera like after the battle for the 15 minutes of fame bloggers and shit. And I don't know. I mean, there's there's definitely people who still even think that I like kind of won the first 2 rounds. Based like line for line, I can't to this day when people tell me that I lost the battle, I'm just like, okay, give me one quotable from clips from that. And I have yet to receive one.
Right.
Which to me, I mean, if I can do that bad and there's still any room for debate, I mean, it's a forgettable battle. It really is.
It is, but I still think there's some good stuff from you. Used to be grinding clips. What happened to that boy?
Yeah, that was fire.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean,
I was trying to figure out.
Pusha T reference, we should say.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to figure out something with Me Too also, like something with Mr. Me Too. But yeah, of course it's a fucking Pusha T reference.
Yeah.
That was probably like maybe the best line I had in all 3 rounds.
I would think so. Yeah, teaching Charles Darwinism's not bad, you know.
No, it wasn't bad. It got super slept on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I mean, it wasn't a bad line. It was kind of drawn out. But
you come with one of the many of this event, Chris Unbiased punch.
Yo, you know what's funny about that is as soon as I said that line, the unbiased review team, they were heckling me the rest of the entire battle. And You'll see there's like multiple points in the footage where I'm like looking out at them in the crowd and like straight talking shit to them while Clips is rapping. And I went straight over to them as soon as the battle was done. And I was like, yo, what's the problem with you guys? I was like, fuck Chris Unbiased. I've said it since day one. I'm a very consistent human being. This has nothing to do with him being a fucking low-life rapist piece of shit. I've always said the guy was a fucking scumbag. And now this just proves it even further. I was like, you guys co-sign that shit and you want to boo me during my performance? Come see me. Like, if you guys have something to say, come talk to me about it. And none of them had anything to say. They were like, nah, man, it's good. It's good. I was like, yeah, well, then shut the fuck up while I'm rapping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Don't free Chris, you say?
Yeah, I was saying don't free Chris.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, because they were saying free Chris, so I was saying don't free him. Yeah. Fuck Chris Unbiased. Straight up.
Again, clips with the clipsiness in a second, doing just loads of like number 2 schemes.
Oh my god, like I can't.
I know. Yeah, it's if you ain't been to jail 22 times, how you missed it 2 times, everything he asks.
Yeah, I thought the funniest thing he said was like, you have this many battles, you're not a battler, you're a league. I thought that was tight.
Yeah, that was fine. That was
definitely. That was like probably the funniest line that he said is, you got 160 battles, you're not a battler, you're a league. That's hella funny.
That is funny. That is funny.
But you're so right about just like standard clipsiness.
And like I don't want to describe it. I don't want to diss Clips because he is naturally one of the funniest guys in battle rap, no doubt.
And he has such a natural presence. When he's on, his presence and his charisma is genuinely larger than life. Like I didn't get it when I first saw a couple of his battles on YouTube and whatnot. I didn't 100% get it, and then I was on stage when he battled Holohan, King of the Dot, and his presence was absolutely fucking insane. And that, like, as soon as that performance was over, I was like, okay, I get it now. Like, I get why it's so easy to like the guy. His charisma and his likability is through the roof. He's very natural. He's never gonna let something in the moment go overlooked when he thinks that it needs attention drawn to it. He's a very like smooth and seamless freestyler who can talk about things in the moment in a way that sounds super polished. So he definitely has like so many good qualities working for him when he is like on point. You know what I'm saying? I definitely don't feel like we got like a vintage Clips performance against me.
No.
I know we got a bad performance from me, and I feel like it was sort of a half-assed Clips performance as well. And to me, that like makes it even more frustrating that I did as weak as I did, because I could have fucking washed the floor with the guy. Like,
You say in the second that you're supposed to book 5 rounds against E. Farrell?
Yeah, that was the original plan. That was because originally from Massacre 1, I was initially supposed to battle E. Farrell. It was confirmed. And then Farrell got sick and said he couldn't take the battle, and I was like, all right, we'll just do it in the future. And then that's when the Math Hoffa battle got booked instead. Then Hoffa no-showed, and then after the no-show, they were basically like, yeah, well, next year we'll obviously get you on the card, and it'll be against an opponent who doesn't no-show. And I had said all along, I was like, well, I'm still down to do the Farrell battle. Like, Farrell's still my homie, and I still think we would have a fun battle. It's also like a semi-home crowd for him, which is a fucking good thing. You know, he's going to get some people to like show up and turn up to watch him battle, just like they did at the first Massacre event where he battled Sakurai. But KOTD at the time, at least at Massacre 2, wasn't interested, I guess, in booking me versus Farrell because they said that it had something to do with me being a possibility for the chain, and they basically said that it might be like it's almost a lose-lose, I guess. But they were basically saying if you battle Farrell at Massacre, you're the favorite, so you're expected to win, and if you don't, it can only damage you. And I don't really care about shit like that. Like, first of all, losing a battle to anybody isn't really going to damage me unless I just straight up don't show up whatsoever and I choke for 3 fucking rounds. If I show up and give 3 rounds, it doesn't really matter if I win or lose the battle. For me personally, moving forward in this, my stock isn't going to take a fucking dramatic hit from like losing a debatable battle to anyone in any league. And that's because I've been around as long as I have, and it's just I'm not going to be defined or made or broken by one individual battle. So when they said that, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And like I was kind of like, well, I mean, I want to battle Farrell. Nakaya wanted me and Farrell to battle. It was kind of like, so like that. He was the one who set up me and Farrell in the first place for Massacre 2. So I thought that's why me and Farrell were still going to be battling at Massacre 3. And then when they gave their reasons, I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I'm not really tripping about it. And then the Clips idea came up. And, yeah, I mean, I guess I could have just said no.
Yeah, but, yeah, exactly. There's so many good battles to go through, and it's still interesting to pick through it. Get Chuck buried with no hands, paint the wall with Clips like Carrie from Homeland.
Yeah. No one, that's super slept on, too. If people have watched the show, then you definitely know what it means. Paint the room with Clips like Carrie from Home. That if you watch the show, that's actually a pretty tight line.
Yeah, crazy line.
But you definitely have to know the show and know what she does during her like bipolar episodes and shit, and fucking color coding all of the articles and shit like that. If you know the show, it's a dope line. But
there's actually. I don't know if you knew Saurus, but Marlowe actually did a Homeland carry line against Cracker and C Major. Talking about they had the most fucked up cry face since Carrie from Homeland.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh wow! That just like I instantly pictured her cry face too, and it's so horrendous.
I think if you did a census of all the battle fans in the world and said, what battle do you really want to see that hasn't gone down? I think they're likely to say you and Ilmac versus Shufflo.
I think so, too. It's just a matter of, I guess, setting at this point. I don't know where it would happen. I don't know what the right,
England, I think England.
I agree, but it's hard for me to get there.
Yeah, true.
It's, it's fucking... It's if I can be like 100% guaranteed that I'm going to get through customs, then it makes way more sense. But I know Ilmac also wants a lot to come back for our 2-on-2 at least, which is understandable. I mean, I would probably ask for a reasonable amount, but I know that he would probably ask for more than what I was thinking. But he definitely has a point, and it's if we are going to come back, it's definitely a kind of a thing. So we should probably, I guess, be rewarded accordingly. But it would be something to where I would want both teams to be properly taken care of, because this is something that if it happens, it's like of historical significance at this point. You know, it's kind of like me battling Iron. It's something that is of such significance that it needs to be done properly if it's going to be done.
Okay.
It can't just be like, yep, we're on this card, you know? Like, it's got to be something that both teams talk about with whichever league for up to, 6 months to a year in advance, like we were thinking maybe this event down the line. And then we can start, like, thinking about it and working out the kinks and creating a proper build-up for it, too. That's another thing. Like, it's something that needs the proper build-up as far as trailers for it, interviews from both sides, and interviews individually among all the parties involved talking about the significance of the battle. Like, I would want it to create and generate the right amount of buzz to where it's not just looked at as another 2-on-2 battle, because it's not just another 2-on-2 battle. As far as I'm concerned, at least, it's definitely something that would mean something, and it should be treated as such, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And
I would still do it, absolutely. Yeah. And I know Ilmac would, too. It's just it's really just about place and time and figuring out, like, what would be best. And Ilmac, even right now, is in a totally different headspace than even the battle world. He's so focused on music and building his YouTube channel. He has, like, another special little project coming out with YouTube in a bit. He's got tons of his own projects that he's working on too. So I don't even know if he's, like, currently in a battle headspace unless some perfect scenario to him presented itself, you know.
And, we'll move forward from the Clips battle to more of a low-key affair. One-rounder against Lev Corso.
Fuck B.O.B., ho! It's because of you idiots the problem grows, even though the real flaws in those arguments all got exposed. But there's a different reason Lev believes it's flat, and y'all should know. It's because he feels like he still lives in my shadow from across the globe.
Great battle on beast mode. Again, was this a Laugh-N-Stalk situation, like, respecting the up-and-comer?
Yeah, I mean, it was also, I had never done a battle for Beast Mode Toronto, but I had always fucked with the homie Chris Kane, who runs the league up there. He had always shown me, like, a ton of support and love over the years at King of the Dot events, and he had hit me up a couple of times about wanting to get me up there to battle. And Lev, I've been familiar with Lev for a minute. He, like, not only as their champ, but just as an up-and-comer that other, like, mutual friends I have told me to, like, watch out for. So I was familiar with him and who he was, and I mean, the situation itself really just worked out well. It was just like, hey, what will it take for you to come here and do a one-rounder against our champ? I'd also never done a one-round, like, longer round battle like that, so I thought that was kind of a cool idea. He also had let me know that Ness and Real Deal were going to be on the card, which was fucking dope. Made me look forward to the event as a whole even more. And yeah, it was really easy to make happen. And then also with it being in Toronto and my girl living in Montreal, it was a perfect scenario of, like, all right, well, just, fly me up there from Vegas, and then you can just fly me to Montreal after, and I'll take care of myself getting home, because then I can, fucking spend 10 days or so with my girl just chilling and reaping the benefits fully. So that played, I mean, the location of it, I think, played into it for sure, just because it is. I've battled in Toronto 20 fucking times, but Beast Mode is its own entity in the Toronto battle scene, and they have their own group of, like, extremely loyal Beast Mode fans who show up to these events, and they fucking go hard. Like, they show up. This Beast Mode crowd, I'm not even gonna front. This Beast Mode crowd was the best Toronto crowd I had battled for in a couple of years, and I know that KOTD has been aware of, like the Toronto crowd being more and more off their last, like, handful of events up there, other than Gully vs. Gannick, which was actually fucking dope. But there had been a weird vibe up there with at least, like, the King of the Dot Toronto events, for whatever reason. The fans being spoiled, it just becoming, like, drinking social gatherings, whatever the case may be. So battling for a different crowd up there was something that definitely like appealed to me. And fuck, man, the Beast Mode crowd was fucking fire. From the beginning of the event till the end, they were there like not only to party and to like drink and smoke and have a good time, but they were there to listen and to react. Anytime a battle was going on, attention was locked on the battlers. There wasn't any noise at the bar in the back. There was very few instances of like the host having to tell the crowd like, hey, hold it down, stop talking, respect the MCs. It was a very good, like attentive crowd who just wanted to fucking hear some dope shit. And it was also like a lot of their first chances getting to see Ness, Real Deal, and myself perform live, which is fucking, definitely builds the hype even more for like a smaller league like that. And then I knew that it's something like I had already thought Lev was good, but this was an opportunity of like he has like a chance to kind of level up. And once again, like Laugh-N-Stalk, like you were saying, it's a chance where I can show some of my fan base another newer, doper up and comer. And the fact that it's a one rounder makes it very easy to digest. You're not having to like commit a ton of time to doing it. The whole fucking energy of the battle was really fun too. It was just it was really good from beginning to end. Shout out to Lev. And Lev's lady is Robin Banks as well, who's like a really dope female MC.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you go in on his flat Earth stuff.
I definitely disproved flat Earth in a matter of minutes. That was,
him and Lux doing a match at the edge of flat Earth. Luz has to jump. Show Sun the revolver.
Yeah, that one was ridiculous. That's like probably the craziest one.
That's maybe the best flat Earth bar ever, I would say.
Yeah, it was pretty. After I finished writing that, I was like, "Holy fuck, this is a really good line."
You clearly love the bars when you're performing them. Like, I think you know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You can also see. I feel like there was like a definite after the hot air balloon battle. I was saying, I remember when we were just talking about it, that I said we had to do a weigh-in before the hot air balloon battle started, and I had actually, upon the weigh-in of the hot air balloon battle, basically found out that I weighed more than I ever had in my life. So after that, we went and got breakfast at this little spot near like the hot air balloon place, and then I went home and immediately like cut fast food and cut sodas out, cut a lot of dairy out, a lot of processed sugars and shit like that out of my diet, because I had never been that big before. So there's probably about a 20, maybe like an 18 to 20 pound weight difference in the Laughingstock battle to the Lev battle. I'm about 18 pounds lighter in the Lev battle, and I think you can definitely notice like my pacing and my breath control is significantly better. Not even than just the Laugh-N-Stalk battle, but if you look at the Clips battle, like how breathy and like sort of dragged on it was, as opposed to the Lev battle, it is two different like universes as far as like the level that I'm performing at. And I'm definitely happy that I fucking made those changes to like my day-to-day lifestyle for sure. I think it's going to be helpful for all of my upcoming battles. It already has been for every battle that I've done since the hot air balloon, basically. But I definitely think it's like the first battle where I like noticeably, at least last year, the first battle that I did last year where I like noticeably got better, got less breathy, better, like more, I don't know. I feel like I was performing even at like a higher energy level against Lev too. And I've carried that from the Lev battle. I did the same thing, I think, against Ellipsis, and then the Oshea battle, I was like super high energy for.
You say also how hard Lev is to name flip.
Yeah, oh my god, it's fucking impossible.
Catching wins from every damn direction. I'm a weather vane, nice heavy closer, and like it's just fun to see you rocking out in this one rounder.
I enjoyed it, man. I had a really good time. I thought the long round was gonna be sort of like a hurdle for me, because definitely one of my weaknesses in the battles leading up to that was like I had been getting more breathy and fucking a little more like wheezy in between lines and shit, and having a 5-minute round, I knew that I had to not only pace myself better, but be in fucking better shape so that I didn't even have to worry about it. So it was, I don't know, I'm like really happy with how it came out. Yeah, I mean, you could make a case too that it's like the best individual performance that I had last year too. It was fucking super polished. It was a different atmosphere, and especially battling someone who people are, I guess, more unfamiliar with. It's so much harder to do than having to battle someone who everybody knows everything about, because when everybody knows things about them, like, information is not only so much more easily accessible, but it's also easier for the crowd to digest and connect with because they're already familiar with it and aware of it. You don't have to like set the table for them and then feed them. Whereas like with someone who's up and coming, you kind of do have to do that. You kind of do have to like set the table for the people who aren't familiar. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know. I'm super happy with how it came out. Shout out to Chris Kane for bringing me up there. It was also like the first event I've ever done where like as soon as it was over, he came up to like me, Ness, and Real Deal and like straight gave us like performance bonuses for how well we did. It was amazing. He just straight like he was like, yeah, we're going to this after party spot at the bar, and like as we're walking there, he's like, oh, by the way, like all of you guys absolutely killed it, like beyond expectation tonight. So like here's performance of the night bonuses, and just like gave us an extra couple $100, which is fucking. It's such a cool gesture for, especially for the league owner to recognize like I had an expectation of you guys, and you all exceeded it, which is fucking awesome to hear to begin with. And not only did you exceed it, but here's how appreciative I am of you exceeding it. Like that to me, like I'm super appreciative of the way he treated us up there the entire time. So I will absolutely like go back and battle for beast mode if a matchup presents itself that makes sense.
Do you
no question.
I always bring this battler up on the show, Saurus. Do you know about Dago Davalo?
Yeah, I do. He battled reverse pretty recently.
Yeah,
he's fire, and honestly, he and Lev, there's a lot of similar qualities there.
Definitely. Personal dream battle is that battle, you guys. I would love to see that battle go down.
Me and Dago?
Yeah, he's
me
fine.
And Dago. That is like, that would be something for like a future beast mode or something that I would absolutely consider. Maybe like a future iBattle or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I know he fucks with iBattle heavy, and I mean, shit, I get along with Lex, and I know Lex has like expressed interest to me this year of getting me out to iBattle. So
the next newcomer, I don't want to call him a newcomer really, but compared to you, everyone's a newcomer, is Geechi Gotti on Shots Fired Sink or Swim Battle event. This was an awesome matchup.
What's cracking, Geechi? It feels like lately you be taking battles weekly. I'm surprised you got your permission slip signed by Smack and Beasley. I don't need no gasoline to breathe fire. Ask Khaleesi. You just another Compton cat on his deathbed. That was easy. Shit, I'll have you leaning when this round's for you's done. 30 sack. I ain't trying to hear about a 2-1. I give a fuck about your struggle or the town that you from. A knockoff nitty from LA. This Malibu rum.
Wow. I wish a bigger crowd would have been there to be able to see it, but I still thought like the energy in the air was good, given the people that were there, because it was definitely like a smaller crowd, but I don't think that at all like affected either of our performances or anything. I was so annoyed with myself for like fucking up my intro to my first round, and it was really just because I fucking did those I did like 4 or 6 bars of rebuttals to start my first round, and then pretty much just like completely lost my train of thought for how my first round actually starts, which was super frustrating. Like the part where I'm just like, why is this happening right now? I was so annoyed with myself because I had run those rounds 100 times perfectly before we had like gone up to actually battle. And then we go up there, he says something about my girl, so I had to like flip the Facebook shit, and then I wanted to say something about like the Magic jersey that he was wearing, and then unfortunately for me, by like getting all thesaurus freestyle ego brained about it. It like, I don't know, my brain shut off temporarily for a second, so I had like a slip up to start my first round, basically.
Unfortunate, but I think still the atmosphere, the whole aesthetic of the battle is great, and
Yeah,
I
sure.
remember.
And I'm glad like I got it out of the way early, and then from then on it was all good. Like I like my momentum definitely like improved after that. It was fucking, once I got it out of the way, it wasn't anything that I had to worry about anymore.
This from Geechi. Had to bring the meal back like they didn't get my order right.
He's so tight.
Crazy, man. I mean, what a phenomenon Geechi is right now.
He has so many great lines that are clever, but on the level of like, how the fuck didn't I think of that type of lines? He's so good at those, like the really clever double meaning lines that for some reason nobody has said them before. He has so many lines like that. I love it.
Yeah, and you have some great stuff as well here. The whole make double G buckle like a Gucci belt.
Yep, for sure. That was one of my favorite parts.
Fine, and the whole body sees up, nothing gang related. And I love seeing this matchup between both of you, and the energy again from you is just ceaseless.
Yeah, for sure. Once I got the stumble out of the way, I felt like I picked the energy up a lot. My second round, I remember being super fun.
See if he can walk on water, fire shots till sunrise like an all-nighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Knock off Nitty from LA, this Malibu rum.
Yo, that was the one I was trying to think
out of
of.
Control, man. Like, relentless.
Yo, I think that was like low-key maybe my favorite line of the battle.
Yeah. And, I mean, yeah, excellent shit from both of you. I think everyone who's seen this battle can appreciate. Again, sort of slept on battle, isn't getting perhaps the reviews
it is. I mean, it's the numbers though, considering the size of the channel, is actually really good. It's, I mean, that channel has like 2,000 or 3,000 subs or something like that. So for the battle to be anywhere in the ballpark of like 50K is actually pretty fucking crazy,
Yeah, and the following battle is, again, I guess, a theme here to a certain extent, taking on these guys who are trying to prove something. You're kind of establishing yourself as this roadblock, this, test of experience. You battle Ellipsis.
You starred in the movie Kick-Ass. Hit girl, right? Last battle of the year, though, so I gotta tell the truth. I'm trying to end this on a high note like an a cappella group. Oh. My bitch perfect. My bitch perfect. I'm on the attack. I'm an insurgent. Your bitch asking me come again like she misheard it.
One of the most slept on writers, I would say, out at the moment, Pete. I think he's gets his dues, but still like
crazy writer. It's interesting. I was actually I actually asked if I could battle Pigsty originally for that event. It was like shortly after his battle with Random had come out, and then he had another dope performance against this guy, the Gingerbread Man, on GZ. And I fucked with Sty for a long time. I really like Ellipsis as well. And I actually asked if Pigsty would be interested in doing the battle, and he told he told like Sparka and Willie, who run the Vancouver division. He was just like, he basically said he wanted to be like 100% ready for something like that, and he wasn't sure if he felt like he was ready to do something like that, which I fully respect. I was kind of surprised that he said no at the battle, but I fully respect him feeling like he's not whatever in the headspace to do that particular battle. That's fine with me, and I'm like a big Pigsty fan, so I'm all good with not battling him. And as soon as he said no, I was like, okay, well then, like, I'm definitely down to battle Ellipsis. Vancouver is probably like my favorite spot to battle in Canada to begin with. I feel like they have such a good like live crowd. The crowd energy up there is just fucking awesome. It's just nonstop positivity. Sparka and Willie are such good dudes and good friends of mine who I've just like tried to show as much support as I possibly can. And I'll go up there to battle pretty much regardless. Like as long as I think I'm gonna have fun doing a matchup up there. I'm gonna go up there and battle, no question. And Ellipsis is he had just had a great battle with Real Deal. And then he had one other like super fire I think he had a fire performance against E. Farrell like shortly before the Real Deal battle too. So he just had like back-to-back Fuego battles. And I mean, he definitely in Vancouver, him and Sty are definitely the two best in Vancouver. So if I'm going to go to Vancouver to battle, I would prefer it be against one of their own and not having them like fly in someone from across the map to battle there for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me your best local dude so we can put on a good show for the local fans who deserve it.
Yeah.
And it would definitely fucking worked out well. He absolutely spazzed. He went crazy in that shit.
This is Insurgency, Van City, and it has a looser vibe, is that fair to say, than a lot of the other King of the Dot events?
Definitely.
There's a guy with googly eyes and shit.
Yeah, that's Lasparka. He's just such a fucking laid-back dude who is nonstop. He reps a squad. He reps. I wouldn't even say a squad. He reps something called Love Force, and it's just he is the most positive human being in the battle scene. He really just is like he's just an old hippie who's about positivity, love, having fun with your friends, bringing in other good people from out of town to come in and enjoy the atmosphere and party with and have a good time. It's a very like stress-free environment, but they definitely still run an organized ship, which is dope. It's by far the most laid back that like any battle league is, no question. But the functionality of it isn't compromised by it being laid back, which is actually really dope and surprising, because usually something that's so laid back and carefree and lackadaisical, you would expect there maybe to be issues and complications, but no, like everybody's on the same page up there, and everybody just wants to like put out a good product that other people are gonna like, and that's gonna like positively reflect their city. That's all they care about, you know.
Yeah, and Ellipsis has some crazy stuff. All this bitch will do is talk about the boy who failed the Bechdel test.
Yo, he's so good.
You know, that is some... for those not aware, it's sort of this test for movies where if there's two women in a film, do they talk about anything but a man? And half of films fail this rule, apparently. So, pretty cool for him to vote there. He does some Pokemon bars that I know you're not really a fan of generally, but as someone... yeah. As someone of that generation, anyone listening will appreciate Battle 151, and you'll see me with the W. So there's basically 151 Pokemon, and Mew was the final one, MEW. So, it's pretty sophisticated shit. Very some deep nerd shit here. You spoke to him, I think. Yet again, you seem quite motivated here.
I definitely did speak to him. That was, my rounds were shorter than his. And we had never even specifically spoke about a round length, so I just kind of assumed they were going to be 90-second rounds. And I'm not even mad that he went longer than I did. I'm glad that he did. That's a situation where it's like, yes, you're dope, and please showcase that so that more light can be shed on it. And I think that we achieved that. But yeah, I wasn't coming up there to play. It was I know how good he is as well, so I knew that if I sort of slacked on that, he is a person who is a good enough writer to be able to point out weaknesses of mine for sure. I also knew though that my overwhelming advantage in that battle, of course, is just personality and just kind of out presencing him, because that's something that he's obviously still trying to fine tune and find his footing in. But I'm, it's like my home to be in any performance scenario. I'm just so comfortable. And you can see it starting from my first line, so comfortable up there. I fucking love it.
And you talk about something that we mentioned on the show recently. We did an episode on viral battles, like the battles that get millions of views, and one of the ones we covered was the Ellipsis battle, where he battles in his school. You say cracked 1 million views as some frail 8th grader, went from viral back to nothing 28 days later.
Let's go.
Crazy.
Yo, I love that line. Super.
Right.
I knew Ellipsis would fuck with that line tough too.
He does. Yeah.
There was definitely like certain things that I wrote in there that I knew that he would appreciate for sure because he's a super smart writer. So that's inspiring enough for me to begin with, to where I want to like put enough layers into what I'm doing for sure. But yeah, I fucking love that quote.
Yeah. The idea of you proposing with a WRC ring. The poker angles as well. Cali to Vegas for gambling. That's a great plan. You and Sharon could reenact Rain Man.
Yo, that was awesome. That was fucking awesome.
When certain lines cross over and both people make the same reference, it actually happens in the Oshea battle where you both mention Misery, and it happens in this battle where you both mention Ozark.
Yeah, and we both mentioned Ozark and Kevin Spacey.
Yeah. I don't know what that
was pretty crazy.
Yeah, pretty uncommon. And you sort of...
Yeah, I was surprised actually. I mean, I think the Kevin Spacey was a little more surprising. Ozark, at the time, especially because the season was still fairly new, it was probably topical enough to where I wasn't too shocked that we both had a line about it.
Sure.
What I was happy about is that we both had such different lines and that both were dope. To me, that's even like neither of us took something obvious from the show to make the same line about it. You know what I'm saying? Because you get that a lot in battle rap, especially when either an event, a current event, or a movie, or a show series, or something like that. If something major happens in any of those things, and you'll hear the same reference to the same sort of pop culture event, you'll hear the same line presented in different ways, basically. Which is, I mean, it's expected, but it's kind of meh. I was so stoked that both of our lines were like nowhere near similar and still both fire.
Yeah, you both mention money getting washed, but you also talk about only book me for that dope. I'm the preacher from Ozark.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable shit.
If people haven't seen Ozark, they should watch it. So they get it.
Yeah. What would you recommend out of interest? Because I know you're a big fan of sort of TV shows and dramas and stuff. Anything recently you've enjoyed?
Fargo is incredible.
Okay.
I super fuck with Fargo.
Yep.
This new show on HBO, Barry.
Oh yeah, Bill Hader, right?
I fucking love it so far, and it's like 6 episodes into the first season. It is fucking dope. It's about a fucking hitman who goes to LA for a job and ends up like the person he has to kill is like an amateur actor. So he's like following this person he has to kill, and he ends up following him into his acting class, and then he realizes that he wants to become an actor as well. It's fucking hilarious. It's also like super dark. It's a really dope show. I fuck with it heavy.
Okay.
Atlanta is another amazing show. Donald Glover just absolutely fucking killing it. I like Billions. Westworld is back, which holy shit. The first 2 episodes of Westworld have been fucking nuts. And this new show, Trust.
Okay.
That just came out. It's on the FX network. It's based on a true story. It's based on the Paul Getty story. I don't know if it's from the 70s. Okay. So he was an oil tycoon back in the 70s. True story. He's like he was literally the wealthiest man in the world at the time that this happened. And they also made a movie about it, which just came out last year, called All the Money in the World.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the show is basically based on the same exact story, where this billionaire, his grandson is like a hippie who uses drugs and whatnot, and at first the kid like fakes his kidnapping to try to get some money out of the grandpa, and then eventually ends up like really getting kidnapped and is like being held hostage for X amount of millions of dollars. And this is based in the 70s. He's kidnapped in Italy. The kid's like in the middle of Italy in like Calabria, and the kidnappers want like $17 million in the 1970s for the safe return of this kid, which is equivalent over 100 milli today or something like that. And the guy's worth tens of billions or whatever. But yeah, it's all based on a real story. And my girlfriend's dad is actually from Calabria, so he's like very familiar with the actual story. And I told him about the show, and he was like super interested in it because a lot of this shit happened like so close to home for him. Yeah, it's actually it's a pretty dope show. It's on the FX network.
Okay. And we close up with the final battle that I suppose is a little close to my own home. Not really, though. This is Dublin versus Oshea.
You ain't never seen this rare of a Jedi. Al Snow, you should have quit while you could still carry your head. Left, right. I don't gotta pull the barrel on you. These hands already give you nightmares. I'm like Maradona. I'm here to alter the way that they look at you when you leave this ring. Being Don't Flop's former poster boy is not as cool as people think.
A momentous battle that lived up to all the hype. Oh my god! Like, how did this start? Rory got in touch.
Rory basically was just like, what would it take to get you out here? He hit me up like one night. I think he had a little bit to drink or something. That's what all the boys were saying when I was out there. They were like, yeah, we can't fucking believe Rory made this happen. He was so drunk when he messaged you like the night that they confirmed it. But he basically just hit me up and was like, yo, like, what would it take for you to come out here and battle in Dublin? And I was like, bro, I've wanted to come to Dublin for my entire life. Like,
right.
I will, or for as long as I can remember. For the first Europe trip that I ever took with like a group of my friends was when I was 18. And I didn't end up going to Dublin, but met and became friends with so many Irish who all, of course, like extended the hospitality of like, anytime you come over, you need to fucking let us know so we can party. And it was just a place I had always wanted to visit, so it was very easy to convince me to go there. And we were, I told him what it would take to make it happen, was super reasonable about it, and he was just like, we can definitely do that. Like, I'll let you know within a day or two. And then he messaged me the next day and was like, yeah, man, like, we can do it.
Jesus.
And it was pretty much that easy. Then it was just about like finding the right date. And yeah, I mean, I knew Osh wasn't going to say no. Osh and I were scheduled to battle for King of the Ronalds in fucking Norway like 3 years ago. And for whatever reason, it fell through. So he and I mean, we'd already agreed to battle each other, and he's someone who I like pretty much openly regard as like the UK GOAT, and I knew that it was unlikely that he was going to say no to the battle. But there was no circumstance really that I could see of where he was going to turn it down, because I knew I wasn't going to turn it down. Even though we had done that 2-on-2 in Sweden in like 2014
with Henry Bowers, right?
Exactly, Oshea and Henry Bowers against me and Ilmac. But even then, we didn't even really cover that much about Oshea in that battle. We more like, we said that he didn't have a chin, and then we spent a lot of time just like talking about Henry's beard.
Right.
So I definitely didn't feel like I had like overly done an abundance of material on Oshea. And not to mention, like, Oshea is one of like the best humans in our scene to begin with. Like, one of the most fun and just like good people to be around in general. So it's something I would never fucking say no to. I already regard the guy as basically like the best UK battler of all time, just based on sheer sample size, and there's a lot of similarities between him and I. He's not afraid to fucking battle anybody, like, no matter what their name is or what the situation is or what the setting is. He's a gamer. He's going to show up and put on an entertaining performance no matter where, no matter when, and no matter who it's in front of. And I fuck with that super heavy. He's always been one of my favorite UK battlers of all time.
Yeah.
And as a human being, he's even better. So it was fucking automatic for me. And to get to do it in a city that I've wanted to see for my entire fucking life, like, it was just like, honestly, it felt like some straight like dream come true shit. It was pretty incredible.
All right. And, this is in the International Bar in Dublin. Actually, they did another event there recently, the Chopping Fables event that I covered with Young Crumpet.
Dope, yeah.
And it was a cool venue. I really like the venue, actually. I think it's well suited.
Me too. It's good. It's a good size. Like, it's easy to fill. The sound inside is good. The acoustics are really good as far as crowd reaction goes and whatnot. I like how it's set up with the little stage being there, but it's not a stage. The venue itself doesn't. It's not like a setting where the stage creates a disconnect between the performers and the crowd. Like, I still felt very much connected to the crowd even though we were on stage. You know what I'm saying? Whereas there are some venues that, as a battler, like bigger stages, to where there is like a clear disconnect because the stage is either so high up or so like the crowd is so far back from the stage, whatever the case may be. Like, I always prefer either a pit setting or a slightly elevated stage to where you still feel like you're a part of the actual audience atmosphere. I thought it was fucking great. Like, the size of the venue is awesome too because it's so easy to fill and to like for it to be an absolute packed house. Like, it just it feels better as it, like, no matter what the size of the room is, as a performer, it feels better performing for a full room, basically.
And, asked a few questions before the episode of listeners who had any queries. And Huey Boom, who's a great battler, up-and-coming Irish battler, he wanted to ask you only about the Oshea battle and also the burger that you got, apparently.
Oh, word. Yeah, we went and got burgers afterwards with Terminal. And, Terminal basically was like, I'm going to show you, like, the best burger in Dublin. And,
right.
Yeah, we went to this fucking burger spot and absolutely massacred the double burger that they put in front of me. It was fucking delicious. Oh, so good.
Shout out Terminal. Great guy, man.
Facts. Absolutely. Shout out to everyone out there. Shout out Rory.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out everyone at Rap is Full. They have some really dope battlers out there, too. Shout out to my dude, Paul French.
Yeah.
Guame, who was obviously
Bagnall.
super fun. Yeah, seeing Bagnall there legit made my fucking day, man. It was so dope seeing Liam there. Being there with Liam, Ocean, Pedro was just fucking... It's just like globalization of goats. It's so tight. I love it.
And O'Shea kicks off going in on Guame's sort of Wolverine look, which is typical O'Shea, really, off-center.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Just this bar, even his setup line is like, this bar has nothing to do with you. Like, to me, is what he said. It's so, like, whatever his setup was, it was basically just saying, yeah, this bar has nothing to do with the battle, but I have to say it.
He does the daughter angle, sort of, seeing a twice a year.
The part that I appreciated, though, after he said a bunch of lines, like, about my daughter, he's like, now, see, I had to make up a bunch of personal shit. Like, the fact that he's so straight up about that is what makes me like it.
Loved it, yeah, definitely. And lots of old school football references that kind of litter the battle, really. The Everton Wikipedia page that O'Shea mentions.
I didn't even have to do that. I knew who those people were without even having to.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I
knew Jordan Pickford for a while, and I was like, the whole net behind. I had like that idea for that line actually for a while. The whole net behind you, like. It was for. I think it was for like a different battle and a different goalkeeper, but I just never used the line, so it just kind of like fell into my lap, basically.
Yeah, I mean, some lines are just so well constructed, so original. The whole gonna bury you beneath the table you can drink me under.
Yeah, fuck yeah! I had to start it out that way, especially in a place like Dublin. Like, I wanted to start out with that's sort of like I definitely started out high energy too. I had a Red Bull right before the battle, and I wanted to like open with something that not only references drinking, because we are in Dublin, of course, but that also like cuts straight to the point of the like I'm here for a body. I'm here taking this seriously, So I thought it was definitely like a good tone setting line. Like they can appreciate you being the drinker, but they're going to appreciate what I do as well.
Little Stephen King sequence to close it up as well, which is nice. And the crowd is so responsive, is what I love about this.
Oh, they're a fucking awesome crowd. They were so good. They were just like, you could tell that they were excited to just be a part of a battle of like that magnitude, because it's definitely, I mean, it's definitely a battle of some value for sure, and especially for it to take place over there as opposed to in the States. I feel like in the States it would still be a highly appreciated battle, of course, and like if you ask most American battlers, especially most West Coast American battlers, who their favorite UK battle MC is, 99% of them are going to tell you O'Shea. They're all going to tell you it's either O'Shea or Soul. And like all the West Coast dudes have been up on O'Shea forever. But I feel like anywhere that's not America or not North America is going to be able to fully appreciate his performance more than like an American crowd, an American audience would. So I'm really glad that it's I feel like it was pretty much like the perfect setting for it. Other than, I guess, if it could have happened in England, but that's just too much of a headache anyways. So I love how I think it's almost better that it happened in Ireland, because O'Shea gives no fucks about playing the heel. And he definitely had like moments in our battle where he fucking is like taking the piss out of the Irish crowd while at the same time, like talking shit. He's talking shit about me being an American while at the same time talking shit about the crowd being Irish, which is fucking amazing. And getting people to positively react to it. Like, that's what I loved.
Yeah. It's just, excellent stuff from both of you. O'Shea has a Stephen King scheme as well, and he references like an obscure Stephen King novel / film, Dolores Claiborne, and I was like, okay, I respect that.
Super low-key reference.
Really, really like out there reference. And lots of football bars from you as well. Osh flips, but I appreciate the knowledge there. All part of God's plan, throw money around.
Yo, that got super slept on.
Crazy.
In the venue, I knew it would, because I mean, it's a Drake video, a Drake song and video. I didn't expect it to get like massive reaction there, but it definitely got slept on in the building.
What are your recollections of this battle? Because it's yet again, is it a classic? I think it's very entertaining.
I mean, I'm willing to call it that, just because I feel like we both showed up and did like. At the minimum, we showed up and provided the battle that was expected or exceeded that expectation. Like, we both had flips every round. There was no stumbles from either of us. We both had a good balance of material, from like bar shit to jokey shit. I think it was a really well-rounded performance from both of us. And it was so clean. Like, there was no hiccups. No issues. We both had the crowd pretty much like eating out of our hand. Fuck, man, I loved it. I want to go back. I want to, I don't know, maybe even like Battle Terminal or something like that.
Wow.
I mean, I think if I went back there, it would make the most sense for me to battle someone Irish instead of someone English,
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah. And Terminal's like the equivalent of like a Lev Corso. And I mean that in a nice way, but like, on that sort of trajectory.
But out there, he's like, in Dublin especially, like he's the dude, and like exactly. So in that I get what you're saying for sure.
Yeah.
He's like kind of the hometown champ kind of thing, and I would love to make that happen.
I guess the final thing we need to talk about, I've seen you've been talking about it on Twitter as well. You're trying to start a Twitch, is that right, or trying to continue one?
Yeah, basically as soon as I either get my old Twitter account back or get this new account up to 5K, I am going to start streaming my poker sessions on Twitch. It was something that I was planning to do like shortly before losing my fucking original account again. Like, my boy had given me an extra monitor and a really dope microphone, so now all I need to do is just buy a new desktop and a monitor, and then I'll have a perfect set. Like he gave me like a 22-inch Asus monitor that's really nice, and I'll probably just use that to play on, and then I just need like the smaller monitor to broadcast from, and someone to help set up my page properly so that I'm able to like get subs and I want to create. I want to have like some banners for like AdSense and shit like that.
Yeah.
Of course, I definitely want to use it for as much of a revenue stream as possible. But basically, Twitch poker has become a pretty fucking huge thing in the poker community for sure. But every single person who streams on there is the same human being. It's all, and I'm not even trying to like slag any of these, but for the most part, it's like introverted white dudes that are poker wizards that are there to talk about poker, and that's pretty much the range of what their stream is. And that's not all of them, but that definitely goes for the majority. I would have something so unique to offer Twitch poker that none of these dudes are doing. I would like, not only am I going to be more interactive with my chat and more entertaining with my chat, obviously. I mean, anybody who follows me on Twitter can attest to that. But I would also find a way to be able to like incorporate the rap shit in the stream, incorporate, like subscribers' names into freestyles while I'm playing, shit like that. I definitely think like I would have the most unique page basically that would be streaming on Twitch of the poker community, because I have the crossover audience to begin with, which none of these guys have, and I think that creates like an interesting dynamic in itself. And then I feel like I'm definitely like a larger personality. I have a larger personality than most of the dudes who are streaming on there, who are like a lot of them for the most part are pretty timid and laid back and quiet dudes who are just like sitting there listening to music, talking to their friends. And I mean, I'm also the good thing about it is it's a really good like study tool, and it'll help me improve my game a ton because I'll be able to learn from my mistakes while I'm in the stream. I'll constantly have input from people in the chat telling me what my mistakes are, so that I'm able to at least sort of like absorb that information. Whether or not I even agree with it, I'm still at least like able to take it into account. So I think it's really beneficial all the way across the board. Like, it's something that's going to help me as a player. It's also going to get me more comfortable talking to people and presenting shit to people, while at the same time like maintaining my sharp sword edges of my rebuttal game and my hilarious like social media interactive skill. So yeah, man, if I could get this new poker and rap Twitter up to 5K followers, or if Twitter finally acknowledges like the appeals that I've been sending for my Saurus 831 account, hopefully I'll just get my original account back. And if I can't get the original back, I'm just going to keep building this one, and then I'll start streaming when I get to 5K.
Well, I guess finally, how do people get you? Any other ways? Your YouTube channel, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, YouTube, Thesaurus Wins. Instagram is Thesaurus Wins. I believe my Facebook fan page is facebook.com/Thesaurus Wins also.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll put the links below, but...
Yeah, for sure. Pretty much almost everything is like Snapchat is Thesaurus Wins. Almost everything I have is Thesaurus Wins. And then Twitter is Poker and Rap. And I think that's the only thing that's not.
All right.
Thesaurus Wins.
All right. Well, please follow the show as well at BattleRoyaleResume. Get in touch with me, battleRoyaleResume@gmail.com. We've got the Patreon if you want to help support the show. You want to get access to stuff weeks, months before it comes out. That's where you get the pay-per-view, as it were. iTunes reviews, if you want to leave one, that'd be greatly appreciated. But Saurus, as always, it's been a great treat to have you on. Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure, Tom. Always, man. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to blasting the link for this whenever it drops.